Hey guys, in this video, we are going to learn about operators in Python. So what are operators? Well, operators are symbols that act like functions because they denote a certain process or operation. For example, the plus sign is an operator because it tells the computer to add the two numbers. There are four main types of operators: arithmetic operators, assignment operators, comparison operators, and logical operators. So if I go ahead and open a program I wrote earlier, we will be able to understand arithmetic operators better. So before I start, I just wanted to introduce what comments are. Comments are denoted by a hashtag at the start and are basically annotations of the program. When a computer sees the hashtag while executing a program, it skips over whatever follows the hashtag and treats it as a comment. So I have used comments in my program to make it more readable to someone who hasn't necessarily written the program. And I most definitely recommend you to use comments when writing programs. Now coming back to operators. Arithmetic operators are used with numbers to perform basic maths. So the most basic operator that most people can figure out, I guess, is the addition operator. So it's denoted by a plus sign. And what it does is it basically adds two numeric values. And I have stored the result in a variable called x, and then I have just printed the value of x with a statement that says 10 plus 2 equals. Now this should print 12. So this is fairly simple. Now moving on to subtraction, it's denoted by a minus sign or a dash, and so it's just 10 minus 2. And again, this should be 8, and that's what should be printed in the output. If you want to do multiplication in Python, you have to use an asterisk. So an asterisk tells the computer that you're multiplying the two numbers. So 10 times 2. So this should print 20. Then division is denoted by a slash. So 10 divided by 2. This statement basically means 10 divided by 2, which is 5. So this statement should print 10 divided by 2 equals 5. Now exponentiation. So what this is it's a double asterisk. So an asterisk and then another asterisk. And it basically raises one number to another number. So 10 raised to 2. So this should print 100. Then modulus. Now modulus is a little bit new because it's denoted quite differently in Python. So basically what modulus means is that 10 mod 3 will return the remainder when 10 is divided by 3. It doesn't return the quotient, but rather it returns the remainder. So 10 divided by 3 is 3 remainder 1. So in this case, x should be 1, and this statement should print 10 mod 3 is 1. Then floor division is the opposite of modulus. It returns the integer part of the number, or in other words, it returns the quotient. So 10 floor 3 is going to be 3 because 10 divided by 3 is 3.3333, something like that. I don't remember, but point is that the integer part of 10 divided by 3 is 3. So this statement should print that 10 floor 3 is 3. Now if we go ahead and we run this program, there you go. 12, 8, 20, 5.0, 100, 1, and 3, like we discussed. So that is it for arithmetic operators. They are fairly simple and are, as I said earlier, are used to perform mathematical operations on different numerical values. Now moving on to assignment operators. So what an assignment operator is basically it is used to give a value to a variable. So the most basic one that we've already used is the equal sign. So x equals 10 basically means that 10 is being assigned to the variable x. And then I'm just printing the value of it, and it should be 10. Now this is really easy, and we've already used this before, so I don't think I need to delve into it further. Now moving on, if you want to assign by adding, you can use a plus equals. So there's no space between them. It's just a plus sign and then an equal sign. And now how this works is that when I say x equals 10 and then x plus equals 2, this line is the same as x equals x plus 2. Now this may seem a little cryptic, but when we type x equals x plus 2, what we're doing is we're adding 2 to the original value of x that we had, and then we're shoving the answer back into the variable x. So in other words, the variable x increments by 2. Now I know there's nothing like this in regular math, but this is how it works in programming. So this should give me 12. So when I print this statement, it should give me 12. Now the reason that we don't say x equals x plus 12, and the reason that we use this plus equals operator, is because it's more efficient coding and it takes away the chances of errors from rising, because you might accidentally use another variable here instead of x, not knowingly. So this is why we use plus equals to rather than x plus 2. So moving on, you can also assign by subtracting. So you use a minus and an equals to. So over here, this statement is the same as x equals x minus 2. And it should print 8. And then moving on, for multiplying, you just use an asterisk equals to. And so x asterisk equals 2 means that you're multiplying x by 2. So it's the same thing as x equals x multiplied by 2. And this should print 20. Then, if you're getting the pattern here, it's a little similar to the arithmetic operators, but it's paired with an equal sign to make it an assignment operator. So for the assigning by dividing, you just use a slash and an equals to, and x slash equals to 2 means divide x by 2, and it's the same thing as x equals x divided by 2, so this should print 5. Now, for exponentiating, it's similar as well, double asterisk equals to, and this just means raise x to the power 2. And it's the same thing as this. But as I mentioned earlier, we tend to use this format because it's more efficient and it's better programming. And also, you can do the same thing for modulus. So modulus equals to means x modulus x mod 3, which is the same thing that I've written here as a comment. And this should print 1. Then again, flooring is the same thing, x floor 3. And again, this should print 3. So this is fairly simple to understand once you grab the concept of what is assigning. So if I go ahead and I run this, there you go. So it prints all the correct values, just how we had discussed. So this is it for assignment operators. Now I'm going to move on to comparison operators. So comparison operators are used to compare two values, two variables, a variable and a value, honestly anything that can be compared. So let's say I start off by assigning the value of x equals 10. Now I want to check if x is equal to 5. I don't want to assign 5 to x. I want to check if they're equal. So I do this by using a double equals to sign. And this is the equal to comparison operator. So when I say x is equal to 5, what I'm doing is I'm asking the computer if x is equal to 5, then print true, else print false. So this statement is actually false because x is equal to 10. So when I run this should print false. Now moving on, not equal to is the complete opposite of equal to. So it's denoted by an exclamation mark equals to sign. And what it means is if x is not equal to 3, print true, else print false. So x is not equal to 3. So x is not equal to 3, which is true. So this will print true. Then there is the greater than, which is if x is greater than 2, print true, else print false. And so this should print true as well. Then if x is less than 15, so 15 is not included in this, by the way, because it's just less than. So if x is less than 15, print true, else print false. So again, this should print true because it is less than 15. Then we have the greater than equal to. So if x is greater than equal to 11, print true, else print false. Now 10 is not equal to 11 and it's not greater than 11. So this is false. And lastly, the less than equal to is if x is less than equal to 20, print true, else print false. So now 10 is less than 20, so it's true. Now if I go ahead and run this, there you go. False, true, 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 false, true. Just like we had said. So this is it for comparison operators, and now moving on to logical operators. So logical operators are fairly simple to understand. There are 3 of them: and, or, and not.
So logical operators are used to combine conditional expressions. Conditional expressions are made using comparison operators. So this is a comparison operator. Conditional expressions return true or false based on whether the condition itself is true or false. So when x is 10 and we say x is print x greater than 2, well, x is greater than 2 because 10 is greater than 2. Therefore, the condition itself is true and the expression will also return true. So using the and, or, and not operators, we can combine different expressions.
So the and operator returns true if both statements are true. So both of the statements on the left-hand side of the and the right-hand side of the and have to be true for the whole statement to be true. Otherwise, it returns false. So even if just one of them are true and the other one's false, it will return false. So over here I said x is greater than 5, which it is, and x is less than 12, which it is. So this statement will return true. Now, x is greater than 5 and x is less than 10. Now remember, this is not less than equal to, this is less than. So technically this is false. So because this is true and this is false, the whole statement becomes false. Moving on, the or statement returns true if either or both statements are true, and false if neither statements are true. So over here, x is less than 5 is false. It's greater than 5. But x is greater than 7 is true. Hence, this whole statement will return true. Next, x is equal to 9, which means is x equal to 9, or is x equal to 8? Now, x is not equal to 9 and it's not equal to 8. So that means that this statement should return false because neither of them are true. And lastly, we have the not operator, which reverses the outcome from true to false and false to true. So for example, if x equals 1, so x is currently 10, so when you're comparing and seeing if x is equal to 1, this would return false. However, because you've put a not in the front, it reverses the false to true. So this becomes true. Now, x is equal to 10 in fact, so this statement would return true. However, in front of it, you've put a not. So by putting the not, it turns the statement into false. And this should return false. So if I go ahead and I print this, There you go. True, false, true, false, true, false. Just like we'd said. Now that is it for operators. Right now, these operators seem pretty useless, but that's because we haven't seen where they really come in handy. They come in handy when writing conditional statements. They come in handy when we're writing if structures, if else structures, and you can really do a lot with these operators. So do continue to experiment with these different operators, see how they work, and do try to remember them, because I know that they can be a little difficult to remember, but once you start practicing, you will be able to remember all of them.